It's almost been this like undiscovered gem.
Kind of got the best of everything for cycling.
You get involved with local cycling groups, that starts to spread things, be it through social media or word of mouth.
I think the mountain biking linked to the cycling is really diverse.
My name is Scotty Loughlin. I'm a professional mountain biker, and together with Developing Mountain Biking in Scotland,
we have produced a series of films to support businesses in areas across Scotland where mountain bike tourism is growing. These films are designed to showcase the facilities on offer, highlight the opportunities available to businesses, helping them to capitalise on this growth and diversify their offer to better cater for this market while securing return visits and repeat bookings.
in this film we visit Glasgow, Loch Lomond and the Trossachs National Park.
My name's Kenny Auld and I'm Head of Visitor Services here at Loch Lomond and Trossachs National Park.
And what is the mountain biking like?
I think the mountain biking linked to the cycling is really diverse. I mean, that's why we're an emerging destination. The landscapes are incredible and the routes live up to that expectation and provide that kind of product.
Who are you actually seeing that comes to the national park for mountain biking and cycling?
It's a diversity of people. We're certainly seeing a lot of people hearing about Aberfoyle and what's in Trossachs and gravel riding, so we're seeing a huge growth in that. But we're also seeing family cyclists, family groups coming out who, after COVID and after the pandemic, really want to get out, enjoy new areas, have discovered a love for cycling when maybe they weren't a cycling family before. So that's a big change in the audience.
And in terms of facilities in the national park, what do you have that caters towards mountain bikers and people who are coming to visit for cycling?
I think we've got businesses who are leading the way and we've got some real good infrastructure there that's leading the way, that's been developed by communities, but increasingly communities are looking to how they can share their hidden gems and develop their hidden gems so they're better for the residents, but also develop a tourism package that brings visitors and also new residents into the area to enjoy, to have an amazing lifestyle in the area. And businesses, some are leading the way in that, some are beginning to see opportunities and some are beginning to waken up to see the opportunities that cycling of all types in this area can bring them.
And these businesses that you're mentioning, what advice can you give them to actually welcome more mountain bikers and cyclists into the community?
I think it depends on the business. If it's an accommodation provider, it's just talking to the community. There'll probably be local bikers in their community and there'll be local development trusts who can tell them, and destination groups for other businesses who will help, because we're seeing in this market businesses are helping other businesses, because a cafe doesn't sit on its own if it's catering for mountain bikers. The mountain bikers or cyclists of any type, they need accommodation, good evening restaurants, and then they also need the network there that joins up. So businesses also have a role to tell us, oh actually, I'm a cafe here, but I could link into National Cycling Network here if I had a new path. What we want to do is create a network of businesses and routes that works holistically and provides like a real mix of packages.
World-class athletes have moved to live in the area, which highlights not only the diversity on offer in the national park, but the quality. Let's find out from a rider who travels the world competing what brought her move to Aberfoyle.
I'm Isla Short and I'm a cross-country mountain biker.
And why do you live in Aberfoyle?
I live in Aberfoyle because it's kind of got the best of everything for cycling.
How can local businesses such as cafes actually welcome mountain bikers?
We're going to be wet and muddy a lot of the time, and having worked in a mountain bike cafe myself, one example is having smooth surface seats that will wipe down. Cafes that can accommodate mountain bikers and find a way to kind of deal with those issues will make a lot more money and also just meet loads of different people from different places, because we get so many people coming here to ride, and if there's cafes and restaurants that they can go to after to get a bite to eat and not worry about maybe being a little bit wet or muddy, and also having somewhere safe to leave bikes as well. I just think for independent businesses in the area it would be pretty massive.
How can local businesses actually make mountain bikers feel more welcome and encourage them to come and visit the Loch Lomond and Trossachs National Park?
I think having lived in the Tweed Valley and then moved here, there is some quite obvious differences. This first one being having a trail association where you've got kind of people who are willing to go out and build and maintain trails is so important, and also having better signage for the mountain bike trails. And then obviously with businesses within the village itself, I know in Innerleithen there's a lot of accommodation providers specifically for outdoors people and mountain bikers. They will provide kind of a bike room and like a hose and that sort of thing, and that's obviously much more useful for a mountain biker, and they're more likely to book that place if it's going to accommodate what they want to do with their time here.
Why should businesses be welcoming mountain bikers to Glasgow and also the National Park?
It's a really warm audience. They're here to really enjoy the area, to value the area. So I think they should be a vibrant part of any business. Our businesses do need to be diverse. They need to be working with evolving trends, and there's definitely a growth in family cycling. There's definitely a growth in people wanting to leave cities to enjoy the outdoors, and there's definitely a growth in people wanting to walk, cycle, kayak, and they'll be doing that amongst a holiday. So if somebody who comes to kayak, they'll probably want to rent a bike and go on a mountain bike trip too.
Gravel riding has grown in popularity, and Scotland's hotspot is right in the heart of the National Park. But what are those visiting riders looking for, and how did it become so renowned?
I'm Stu Thompson. I live just outside Aberfoyle in Scotland. I'm a local rider, ride mountain bikes, gravel bikes. I've been working in the mountain bike industry for a long time, and yeah, I guess I've been pretty well involved in the recent growth in this area of gravel riding.
And tell me a little bit about Gravel Foil.
It'd be 4 years ago now, myself and my friend Rob Frail started a local event called Duke's Weekender. At the time, tourism had shifted, and some of the bus tours that kind of used to come through had, no longer coming there, and it was definitely having an economic impact, and the main street in Aberfoyle was pretty empty. The village was sort of struggling a little bit, and there was a lot of different locals trying different things to see what we could do to try and kind of get together and re-energise the community almost. So myself and Rob, both being keen mountain bikers and keen cyclists, thought we'll run an event. And just at that point, gravel riding was kind of becoming established as a bit of a, its own discipline, if you like, in cycling. So the two of us were like, well, this place is amazing for gravel riding because, it's just this emerging discipline. Nowhere had really kind of established itself as a destination, and Aberfoyle is blessed with hundreds of miles of trails. I think what gravel riding has done for the village is given it a kind of USP as a destination. It's set right in the heart of the Loch Lomond and Trossachs National Park. It's a beautiful place, but it never had a trail centre for mountain biking. It never had that much kind of accessible trails. It had lots of this kind of big forest road kind of network and kind of the Sustrand cycle paths and everything, but not that kind of technical aspect the mountain bikers chase. And then it had the road riding and people kind of passing through on the road. I think what gravel riding's given the village is like a USP, and it's sort of put it on the map as a destination, so people actually come to Aberfoyle now, base themselves there, and then go and explore the area.
How can local businesses actually help to grow Gravel Foil as a destination and welcome mountain bikers, gravel enthusiasts and cyclists?
There's so many different things. I mean, I think on the face of it, just being open and welcoming to cyclists, especially when we've had the event on, loads of the local businesses were kind of going we'll do a special offer or we'll promote something, and they come and approach us and we can promote it to the participants and stuff as well. And then there's other simple stuff like bike parking and then promoting themselves through kind of cycling channels and working with the kind of local cycling groups as well. I think that's the main thing, is communication. I think if you get involved with local cycling groups, that starts to spread things, be it through social media or word of mouth. And then again, the other thing is kind of, the one thing anybody coming to visit, particularly if they're coming from, further away, is they're going to look for information, on where they can go and what they can do. So just understanding that kind of infrastructure, or who to talk to, or kind of understanding a little bit about where to point people as well. It's almost been this undiscovered gem, particularly an off-road kind of cycling audience. The Loch Lomond Trossachs National Park is an area that a lot of people just have kind of bypassed on their way somewhere. It's like this mini Highlands that's really a lot closer to the central belt, or within the central belt of Scotland. So it's way more accessible, but you can still go on a trip and go on a route and take in 5 different lochsides, views of Monroe's, even jump on a little ferry across Loch Lomond. And Aberfoyle sitting within that. I think Aberfoyle is kind of, it's becoming the kind of well-known location within the national park for cycling, but I think within the wider area, there's so much to offer, and it's obviously sits within a lot of well-known routes as well, like the West Highland Way or Rob Roy Way as well.
We earlier heard the importance of trail associations from Isla to maintaining and building trails the right way. In Balquhidder, there's a movement of local riders doing this with the ambitious aim of making a mountain bike destination in the national park.
So my name is Ian Ramsey Clapham. I live here locally in Balquhidder.
And what is the mountain biking like here in Balquhidder?
Mountain biking has really grown in the last few years. We started back in 2015 with just a handful of people riding the forest. Since then, with the development of the local trails, it's grown phenomenally. Some weekends we might have 50 riders scattered over the hill. The local trail association really started in 2016 when we realised the right way to do this would be to get permission from the landowners. So we got together a crew. We started talking to the Forestry Commission at the time and got a written permission from them, which we've over the years utilised to do the development of the trails. We've got connected with Developing Mountain Biking in Scotland, and they've been a huge support to help us with things like insurance. And that whole infrastructure has made it far easier now to work with the Forestry Commission.
And how can local businesses connect with the Trail Association?
The big one is the coffee stop, the coffee and cake stop. And a lot of riders are here looking for a coffee and a cake after their ride. And More 84, the Broch, all of the small local cafes provide an excellent opportunity for us to provide something back to them and engage with them.
My name's Mark Shimizu. We have a bike shop and hire centre in Callander. We've been here 34 years now.
And what kind of adventure riding is there here in Callander?
Some of them are forest roads, a lot of forest roads, a lot of rural paths and core paths, part of the core path network, which although not specifically designed for biking or mountain biking, can make some really good biking tracks. And with new initiatives like gravel foil, they've done a lot mapping of routes, and I've got a good little website there about gravel and trail riding.
How can the area continue to develop and welcome more cyclists?
If routes are developed and maintained, people will come. And then of course there is the marketing of that as well. The news spreads quickly. If someone finds a good trail, with Trailforks, Strava and all these other apps that there are, the routes get out there quite quickly. People locally respond to that by saying, yeah, hey, bikers welcome, hey, we've got chargers, hey, we've got tools, hey, we've got safe space to store your bike, hey, you can clean your bike here. And if the National Park assist accommodation providers and restaurants, cafes, whatever, to do that, people can come in, charge up, an hour's charge, and they've got an 80% full charge to carry on their journey or on their epic day, and then just have the information and the routes available on apps or online somehow, so that people can follow trails, they know where the facilities are, and opening times, things like that.
We're here in Cathkin Braes, an iconic Glasgow mountain bike destination. In 2014, it hosted the Commonwealth Games, and in 2018, the European Cross Country Mountain Bike Championships. It's got a diverse range of trails, a blue trail, a red trail, a jump line, a pump track, and a cross-country loop, meaning that there's something for everyone, from the beginner to the expert rider. But how has this changed the mountain bike scene in Glasgow?
So my name is Jane Damer, and I am a Cycling Development Officer for Glasgow Life.
How is hosting the 2014 Commonwealth, the 2018 European Championships, and looking forward to the 2023 World Cycling Championships, how has that built Glasgow as a cycling destination?
Well, we've been awarded the UCI Bike City label. Basically what it means is that UCI recognise how unique Glasgow is in terms of hosting events, and also it's a recognition of the world-class facilities that we have here. 2023 is going to have a major impact because there's a lot of legacy plans around the event. At a very basic level, Glasgow Life will be managing a substantial community cycling fund that a lot of community organisations who are and are not already involved in cycling, they can apply to this fund to do something around cycling, whether it's funds for coaches, whether it's funds for training volunteers, doing maintenance stuff, getting storage, buying bikes, recycling bikes, whatever it is.
The 2023 World Cycling Championships will be key in the legacy of mountain biking in the National Park. But what will hosting events bring at a community level?
I think events do play a key part. It links community and visitors. We've seen that with the Duke's Weekender and Gravel Foil itself, that they kind of dovetail really nicely to create Aberfoyle into a really well-known opportunity and product, and businesses are beginning to waken up to the opportunities there. The World Cycling Championships in 2023 will be here, and it will link in and people become aware of that if they haven't heard already through other mediums, but they'll see it on television and they'll see the variety. They'll see road cycling, they'll see downhill, they'll see gravel riding, they'll see BMX, and it will really hopefully kind of get them enthralled into what we've got to offer.
Through developing mountain biking in Scotland, there's an unparalleled network to offer support for businesses who are already in this sector or those who wish to do more to take advantage of the opportunities. There is a dedicated team and expert resources available through project partners covering a range of areas as diverse as accommodation, marketing, events, partnership working, and further opportunities for training and funding. Get in touch to find out more.